Hi Anti-Society, welcome back to the Anti-Social Planet, and today we're watching episode 4 of Tomodachi Game. So in the last episode we got into some pretty heavy stuff with us revealing that there was me desperately trying to find the words so that I don't get flagged by YouTube, some activities of a sexual nature that were not exactly legal with one of our main characters, and some of the trauma mixed up in that. We also had it revealed that Tenji is the mastermind behind this. He seems to be. He really wants to get Shiho's attention. They were kind of childhood friends and then briefly sweethearts because their families wanted that, and it seems that they broke things off because Shiho was not really into him, but he seems to believe that he is in love with her. I don't know if this is the way of expressing love. It seems a little bit convoluted and not healthy. But he seems to believe that if he can tear this friend group apart and make her isolated and desperate, that she will run to him and he can be comforting, and that'll make her fall for him. I really don't get the logic, but I'm also remembering that these are teenagers and it's also for the drama a little bit, so I will suspend my disbelief for the time being. But it does seem to be causing some rifts within the friend group, so I feel like this can only get worse. We're still doing this game, we've lingered on it a lot more. I feel like we're going to continue to have these secrets coming out, but it also seems like Tenji is just trying to air all of the things because he's been listening in on conversations. Like, who wiretaps their friends? Where's the sane logic of that? I don't know. But yeah, things I feel like are only going to become more convoluted and vindictive, and it's all gonna go downhill quicker and quicker and quicker. So seems like we're not letting up on the dark, heavy topics. I don't know what this episode is going to bring, but let's get into episode 4, and I don't know, let's see what we're gonna jump into. We're just gonna jump in and hope it's okay. In 3, 2, 1, go. Everybody separated into their own little groups that we've established. Like, going from like them being like one whole unit to like they're starting to siphon off. I really hate how creepy he is. Okay, so there is some of it that he didn't say, but he's like expecting that it should be one of the other ones. I wonder, like, if they said it about themselves, or if they said it, or if someone else said it on their behalf. It's very interesting to think about how they are, I don't know, manipulating the game in their favor, and like the games are built basically to like encourage, I don't know if cheating is the right word, because if it's encouraging it then it's not really cheating, but encourages bending the rules. So I wonder how many layers there are to it, and whether or not I'll get any answers. I might not. There might not be a grand reveal moment. It might just be that I have to guess. This is a very upbeat song for like the imagery. Mm-hmm. I don't trust like anyone now. He did. Look at him acting like he's just trying to keep everything together. The whole good guy routine. I don't trust it. I don't know if you're on her side. I wonder what he said to her too, because we didn't actually see what Yuichi said. We know that he said something though. I don't think she did. I don't think Tenji really thinks that she did either. He's just causing more divisions. Is he very innocent and sweet? I don't know. I feel like Yuichi is far more conniving than you give him credit for. I don't know if I should cheer for him though. I know that I'm definitely not team Tenji, but at the same time, I don't know if anyone else is like a better alternative. I feel like this show is just gonna play with my emotions and sense of loyalty. Forcing you. I don't think anyone's forcing you to do anything, but okay. Let's just deflect responsibility. Is he gonna write something about himself? Mm-hmm. Uh-oh. Oh dear. What happened? Did they time that because they knew how long he would be in there? I'm just saying. I wonder if Yuichi did time it though, because he wanted Tenji to go in to raid it. She doesn't have to though. Not true. I don't think that's what she did, but even if she did, that's her decision. I feel a lot of, I feel pulled in a lot of different directions. Oh dear. I wonder what happened though while Tenchi was gone, because we didn't get the full perspective. So what is Yuichi playing at? Just sweeping in when she's vulnerable, huh? He's so creepy. I dislike being here a lot. What's Shibe doing? He's also there. No, just like, just off by himself. Third wheeling. Fifth wheeling? I especially feel weird because we keep not being able to see Yuichi's eyes. They keep being shadowed, which means he's definitely doing something. He's planning something. There's more layers to his actions. By how much? Well, that's not that bad. Oh dear. Mm-hmm. He's so manipulative. It makes me feel gross. The whole don't do anything on your own makes me feel ugh, too. It's like she needs to like ask permission. which is just not good. I don't like it. It's not that bad of a secret though, except the whole like him saying, "Oh, only she would know." Oh, a new mechanic? New mechanic he didn't account for. They're definitely playing though because they know more about what's going on. Yeah, I'm like, they're definitely. Because the game knows more about what's going on with them than they do. If there's nothing. I think because they probably wanted to play because they're like, they know that certain people have uh, gained trust with each other. I mean, I think he also wants to prove himself a little bit. Mm-hmm. Not hiding anything. I feel like we're gonna learn something about him then. He seems intense. So not a good person. I mean, that's not a secret about him. You see, I'm like, there's not him. Yeah, it does change things. It's not really a secret about him, though. I do always dislike it, though, when people blame children on stuff that the parents do. Like, you shouldn't blame kids for it because you don't get to choose who your parents are. I mean, maybe I feel like he just wanted to impress Shiho, you know? He wanted to help her because of how he feels about her. I mean, I don't not think that the whole it not being cosmetic surgery didn't have some impact. I mean, it could have something to do with him, but not necessarily. I mean, innocent until proven guilty, right? He was already really isolated too, because they've like paired off and then there's him by himself. Yeah, see, hero. I think he did just want to be the hero in that instance. Are we taking a selfie of a teenager crying on the ground? Oh. Come again? I would like to go back to the part where there was murder. I feel like maybe the game is putting in cards too, though. Or it was Yuichi. It could have been. See, Yuichi has been surprisingly in the background for this episode, which makes me suspicious. I would like to go back to the part where one of these teenagers has killed someone, though. Why do I feel like she's calling me a gullible idiot in that moment? Look, it's hard for me to pick up on everything. I'm trying my best. But are we not gonna go back to the part with Shibe? We're not gonna loop back to that? I wonder if it is a, like, I don't know, only like half truth. Like, if it's like he feels guilty about someone who ended up dying, so he like feels responsible for it. Was it like just something he was like there when it happened and he feels guilty about it, or is he like directly responsible for it? You know? I feel like it's a little bit vague. But why does Yuichi know it? Because it seems like Tenji didn't. So did like Shibe say something to Yuichi? Or is he just like, I don't know, Hail Mary with it? Like making it up and seeing if it works? Did he deduce something? Is the game rigged in some way? Probably. I feel like that episode was a lot more leaning into the fact that we have Tenchi manipulating how this whole game is working and kind of getting to see how his mind works as he's working through these different challenges and stuff like that. So I feel like it was a little bit more of him like being calculating and establishing who he is, having a lot more in the background than we usually have. He's kind of the MC for a lot of this. He's the focal point, and he's also like how we're experiencing the story. A lot of it's through like his thoughts and interior monologue, but not with this one, which makes me suspicious of what exactly he has going on, because he's been pretty quiet. He's just been sort of in the back observing, which I guess is what he seems like from their perspective, which makes sense if we are getting an episode that is mostly from Tenji's perspective, that he would be very quiet and in the background, but he's also aware of kind of the sinisterness of him. So it's interesting from a narrative standpoint to like see what Yuichi looks like from outside, since most of this we've experienced from like his perspective. So I'm sure he has something going on. I know that when he asked Tenchi to go in to the little booth thing first, and then he comes out just when Yuichi decides to slap Shiho, there has to be some kind of timing to that, right? Because he had to be in the little booth for exactly 3 minutes. So there's no way that Yuichi didn't know when Tenchi would step out and see what was going on. So I feel like something happened between like Tenchi going in to write down his little confession thing to when he walked out. Something happened in that 3 minutes. I don't know what it is. I hope that maybe we get a little bit of a time jump to go back and see what Yuichi was like thinking and scheming and stuff like that. But I would also like us to go back to the part where apparently Shibe killed someone. I'd like to get more information about that particular thing. The whole his dad does a lot of awful stuff, basically a criminal, just hasn't been caught for it. Awful. Feel bad for him having to grow up around someone like that, and you know, also deal with the consequences of that, which I've always had a bad feeling about, because like you don't get to choose who your parents are, and I always feel bad for the kids of people who are criminals, especially like the really infamous ones that everybody knows about, because it's not their fault that their parent has done awful things, and it doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to do any of it, because like a huge chunk of them don't grow up with those parents because they get arrested or whatever when their kids are really young, and they don't actually spend time with that parent. So to say that like their kids will turn out the same way, it has always just like sat poorly with me. But I do understand the idea of like not fully trusting that person, you know, because like how much do you want to get sucked into that world? Like, is being friends with this criminal's child going to pull me into that world in some way that I don't want? I don't know. I've never had to make that decision, so I don't know what my decision would be in that instance. So I do feel bad for him, but I think I was definitely on the side of like forgiveness, of being like, you don't get to choose who your dad is and what he decides to do with his money and power, and I'm sorry that you had to grow up with that. But the killed someone thing, I need more information and context for that one, and I don't know if it's like he directly was involved. Maybe it was an accident. Maybe he was just there and he feels responsible in some way. You know, you witness some kind of accident happen and you can't save someone. You feel like you should have been able to save them, so you hold that guilt with you, or like what the situation is. But I would like to have more information, because that seems like a big reveal. You know, we've got things like not being the age that we said, or we're actually a year older than everyone expects, and then there's that. So some high stakes going on, and this game's just digging up all of the dirt on everybody. I wonder what will happen with Yuichi, because there's got to be something, right? Because we had like little minor kind of embarrassing things, which like maybe he wrote because he doesn't want to seem suspicious in the same way that Tenji did, but we haven't like had a huge reveal for him or Tenchi. I feel like it's got to come out in the open eventually that he's the reason that they're in this game in some capacity, or he's got something else going on. I don't know what, but he's got to have some kind of big secret moment. I feel like everyone in this game does. They don't have like normal secrets because there wouldn't be any drama. It's not like secrets that the average person would have. It's got to be dramatic secrets. But I like that we're sitting in this game for a while, especially since it really pulls up a lot of that drama and it's really like dividing all of the characters. It'll be interesting to see how the dynamic shifts when they go to whatever the next game is, because I feel like they're going to completely be apart. And I really liked the opening shot of this episode. It was a recap from the last one, but it was showing them all off on their own. We had three groups instead of one cohesive group, which is how we've usually had them kind of grouped together. Like even if there was a little bit of distrust, they were still sticking together, whereas like now they've fully broken apart, and I don't know how those alliances will shift, but I don't think they will come back to one group anytime soon. You can click this playlist to go and see my previous reactions, or you can subscribe so you don't miss the next time I post a Tomodachi game reaction, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!